Yes guys, this podcast is sponsored by CBMe. They're a CBD company that got CBD fruit. They've only got 3 different packages. They've got Relief, Uplift and Relax. They're 3 different types of range of CBD that they do. All of it is dried fruit, dried infused fruit. This is the Relief package that they sent me. Best for like post-workout therapy. So if you want some CBD fruit, you can go to my link in the bio down below. You can get 30% off your first order. So yeah, for more information on the products that they have, go to @cbme.cbd on Instagram. They've got loads of content on there for you to have a look through. And yeah, thank you to Bavin for helping out, supporting the podcast, and enjoy the pod. I've not filmed a podcast since I've been here.
Justin's one.
Justin was the only one, and when I first started, I was doing probably a few more regularly, but like since I've been here, I've just been training loads. It's hard to.
Yeah.
It's not even that I've not got the time. Just like when you're training so hard, like and you've got those spare hours in the afternoon, like the last thing you want to do is like film. Even though I love filming, I love chatting. Shit, Welcome back to. I don't even know what podcast number this is. I'm not gonna try.
We started with that.
We started. This is Charles Joyner, everyone. The tall Aussie lad, kickboxing legend, or legend to be, MMA legend to be. How are you, lad?
I'm good. Big week of training so far, but yeah, it's good. Living the dream, aren't we?
Thank you for coming on, mate. I appreciate it.
That's alright.
How you finding England, bro?
Yeah, it's good. Obviously, like I came here to escape the lockdowns in Australia, so
sensible decision.
Yeah. I've successfully done that, and yeah, it's just been good. Just got stuck into training straight away here, really, at Four Corners in Liverpool. So just been training hard, working on the MMA, and yeah, not doing much else other than training, really. So,
well, for my people who don't know who you are 13-0 as kickboxing. You were middleweight.
Yep.
Commonwealth champion.
Yep.
Yeah. And how long have you been fighting for? You've not been fighting for that long, have you?
Yeah. So I started training probably in January. It'll be 6 years, so just under 6 years now.
6 years.
Yeah.
And you're 25.
26.
26. Oh.
Yeah, close.
Well, I do think from like the short amount of time I've got to know you in the 2 months that we lived together, you are a fucking phenomenal kickboxing striker, obviously.
No, I appreciate it.
But like everything you do, mate, like even I know I'm starting off by sucking you off a little bit, but I appreciate the help that you give me, because it means a lot to me. Obviously, I had my fight for people that might have seen on the weekend.
How'd it go?
Mate, it's so good. Like it's definitely worn off like a little bit now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had my fight. It's only like a small little interclub fight in the gym. It was my first fight since I fought last, which was in August, and I lost in August. I didn't really I trained for it, but looking back, like nowhere near what I should have been training. Like I was training a lot of fitness. Like I was very fit for the fight. Like I was a lot fitter than the guy I fought, to be honest. And I was just kind of hitting the bag, or just like doing some boxing sparring with my mates in the streets. Like it wasn't really
in the streets.
Yeah, in the streets, in the back alleys ahead of me.
Roadman Paul.
And then I've come here. And I've absolutely loved every single second. Like it's hard work, but it's unbelievable. Like you wake up, you train in the evening as well, and like I think getting to mix around with other fighters as well, and like taking pieces off other people and just living and breathing fighting. It's so fucking fun, mate.
Yeah. Like
it is unbelievable. Like the feeling you get after a good session as well. Like especially like when you see, like for me in the 2 months that I've been in, the improvement I've made. Like it's just like it's nice to see hard work pay off in that interclub, for example. Yeah.
Well, no, you're essentially living just like a professional fighter would, and you're around people that are training like professional fighters. You know, people that are on the verge of being in the UFC, high level strikers, high level grapplers. And you're living in the gym, so you're definitely going to improve, but it's always like that. I guess it depends on how much you commit yourself. So you've just committed yourself, and it was I think it was cool for everyone in the gym to see the interclub, because obviously when you came, not that you were like a beginner, but maybe compared to everyone else,
it was glaringly obvious. The difference.
But it's like, but then seeing the interclub was cool, because like he had a little bit of adversity in the grappling, which is probably your striking still your strong point compared to the grappling, and then you overcame that, and then just lit him up on the feet, and the whole place is just going.
Mate, the thing is, it was like I was the first adult fight. It was all kids.
Yeah.
And the way the fight played out was, like you said, I had the guy. Do you know, it's fair play to the guy. I don't know if he's going to be watching. Shout out Tyler, because he's a tough cunt. Like, he came out to fight. Got me against the cage pretty early on. I made a mistake, let him take me down, and I had my arm trapped behind my back. And then I was just like, I had a little flash in my head. I was like, fuck's sake, mate. I've trained all this hard in front of all my peers, everyone that I want to impress, and I've started off the worst way possible. But I just stayed calm, flipped him around, and as soon as I flipped him over into top mount, I was like, I've got him, mate. And then landed a few ground and pound strike, almost knocked him out in the first round. I think Justin was the one that was getting a lot of stick for not ending the fight earlier. But
I think like if it was like on a fight night,
amateur, I think it was fine. Good stoppage.
Yeah, I think it was good. I think even in like a amateur, I think given the environment and that, like, it's probably good he stopped it, because it was getting pretty rowdy, like in the crowd. Like everyone was like everyone's like, when you're smashing him, everyone's like, like just getting, and you sort of forget. But because it's like fighting's fighting, isn't it? So it's like, when it's a fight, the emotions get involved, and that's why everyone loves it, because of how it makes you feel. Like, even, everyone was just sort of like chilling on a Sunday, and then as soon as that starts happening, like, you feel all those same emotions you would if one of your mates is fighting in like the UFC. It's like the same feeling. Yeah,
when there's people that you know, especially it's like the night before. By the way, congratulations! Shout out to Sam, shout out to Jay, shout out to Connor, because they all won their fight on Almighty. It was a great weekend for the team,
and then,
to be honest.
There was something else as well, because
was there a boxer, like one of the amateur boxers?
But I feel like it was 6 from 6, so. Oh, Justin won the grappling thing as well.
Oh shit, Justin won his grappling fight and grappling. He took it on like a day's notice as well, didn't he?
Yeah. Well, I think he literally a couple of hours notice.
Yeah. Justin's a mad guy.
Yeah.
Mad guy.
Just lives it.
Well, let's talk a bit of UFC. This year's been a fucking mad year for UFC, to be honest. Next, the final pay-per-view card, Oliveira and Poirier. Who have you got?
I don't know. It feels like Poirier's just like the uncrowned champ. I think it's like, everyone probably thought that he should be fighting for the title when he fought Conor the second time, but I saw an interview with him and he was saying he doubled down on himself, so he made like another 7 figures, and then
everyone maybe stupid not to say that Conor fight.
And he knew that. I think he knew that he was going to win, and then he was always pretty confident, and then he knew he'd get the title shot after that. So Oliveira is good, but
Charles the Bronx, I don't know, like I feel like Charles probably got a little bit more experience than Poirier in the cage, and he's got a lot of a more well-rounded game, if you like, because he can knock people out, and then his submissions. I think he's got the most amount of submissions in UFC history, or he's definitely up there.
I think it might be. I think that might be right.
And he's been fucking fighting around for so long. But it's just whether or not he can stand and bang with Poirier, because you see Chandler dropped him in the first round. Obviously he came back, but it's a close fight, man. It's a good fight, that's for sure. It's a great fight.
I think people are calling on that Chandler one, like saying like, that shows that Oliveira could, has got good finishing, which he obviously does, because Gaethje couldn't finish Chandler. But I think Chandler as well is like not a 1-round fighter, but his strongest round's the first round, whereas Poirier will go like in a 5-round war and just, even like against Gaethje, like he weathered the storm and then finished him in the 3rd or 4th round.
I think it was the 4th round,
So I think, I feel like, and I think Oliveira's got more experience, but Poirier's probably got more big fight experience.
He's definitely been in bigger fights.
Like fought Conor 3 times, which are all pretty big fights. Fought Khabib, beat Holloway in a 5-round war.
Beat Gaethje as well, that was the main event.
Alvarez, which had like,
Twice,
essentially, which had that exposure.
How many main events has Oliveira had with big name guys? Because it was his first title shot against Chandler.
He beat Kevin. Did he beat Kevin Lee? He beat Tony Ferguson.
I think he did beat Kevin Lee. I think he tapped him out. I could be wrong.
But it's not like... I think they were main... I'm not even sure if they were main events. I think the Kevin Lee one was a main event, because I think that was actually the first card when COVID happened. And it was it was like a fight night, I think.
Mate, there were so many fights that they put on during COVID. Fucking hell.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Who else was on that Oliveira Poirier card? Leon Edwards was meant to be fighting against Masvidal.
Yeah.
And Masvidal's pulled out.
Yeah. Nunes?
Oh yeah, Nunes is fighting Juliana Pena.
Yeah. That'd be a good one.
The women's goal.
People just always, I think people just see Nunes. They either see Nunes or Shevchenko's name, and they just don't even think about the result. It's just.
It's like almost a guarantee.
Yeah.
Win. I think Nunes and Shevchenko, I think, should run it back, but I don't think Nunes wants that fight. Like, if you were Nunes, you're 2-0 against her. Like, I think Shevchenko is an unbelievable fighter, but I think against Nunes, the size difference, even that 135, like, what's the name? Nunes cuts herself down to get to 35, whereas Shevchenko only just about makes 35. Like, she doesn't really cut any weight or anything. But if I were Nunes, even the second fight was so close, which a lot of people thought that Nunes lost that fight. If you see the damage as well. If I was Nunes, it'd be hard to get up for that fight thinking that you've won it twice.
Yeah.
Whereas Shevchenko's obviously going to be even hungrier to get that fight again.
I think people think that Shevchenko won the second one though.
Yeah.
Like, I actually haven't watched it.
I've not watched it back.
No. But I think Shevchenko is my female GOAT, just like in terms of like her actual skill set. I think Nunes is like, she's obviously good. She's probably the best women's finisher ever. Like, how she knocked out Cyborg.
Knocked out Cyborg in a minute.
Yeah, which is
she
crazy.
She was like the most feared fucking featherweight in women's history really ever. Because wasn't she, Nunes was fighting for the title. Like, she wasn't defending that 145. I think
it was Cyborg's title.
That
was to become champ. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, that was crazy. That highlight is, they were posting that a bit the other day. I love that overhand and it just like Cyborg just goes with it and just like she's hurt.
And what else? We've had Chandler Gaethje as well. That was on the last card. That was fucking unbelievable.
We watched that and
you were trying to say you were going to go to bed. I was like, come on, mate, we're not going there and watching this.
To be fair, I did after. I don't know how I slept after that one, but the whole time we were just like,
mate,
G'ing up for it.
Unbelievable. Do you know Michael Chandler is such a tough cunt? Such a tough cunt. Like, I think I was probably. I thought Gaethje was going to stop him, to be honest. I think maybe I didn't really give Chandler the credit he deserved, but I think in the few fights that he's had, he's fought Hooker, knocked out Hooker cold. Well, not cold, but like, it was a pretty dominant performance. Then fought the champ Oliveira, knocked him down in the first round, had a really good round, then got knocked out again. But then
he just got caught really in that second round.
Yeah.
Like, Chandler dominated that fight really, and then he got caught early with that hook, and then just got finished.
And then he was, and in the Gaethje fight as well, I feel like they were 1-1 going into the third, and then Chandler had a good start to the round, and he was just obviously just fucking knackered from the war that they were having.
Because he's so jacked.
So jacked, mate. I think there's a strong argument for Rose as well, being one of the women's GOATs. After beating Wadey twice now. And
she's overcome a lot of adversity. That's what I like about her career, is that she's like come back and then. Did
she lose the Ultimate Fighter? Did she like get cut and then come back, or did she win the Ultimate Fighter? I know she was on the Ultimate Fighter. I can't remember.
I remember the first time I heard of her was when she beat Paige Van Zandt.
Yeah.
Like, sort of derailed the hype train.
Everyone was thinking Paige Van. Well, it's probably because everyone was just like, "Oh, she's pegged."
Fucking,
let's think. Well, the UFC were trying to make it.
Yeah, of course.
It was him. Who else was the same time as Paige Van Zandt that they were trying to hype up? One of the guy fighters.
Sage Northcutt.
That's it, Sage Northcutt. Yeah. Fucking hell, feels like a long time ago. It wasn't even that long ago.
5 years ago, maybe.
5 years ago.
Probably. Because Sage Northcutt was like 19 and just looked like a. When I see someone like that.
Did he fight Mickey Gall? And then he lost to Mickey Gall.
Yeah. Who it was like Mickey Gall beat CM Punk.
Wow.
And then Sage Northcutt straight after.
Mate, they signed Mickey Gall as a 1-0.
Yeah, off that.
I think because he was making his debut when Dana White was filming
looking for a fight.
Looking for a fight, yeah.
And he called out CM Punk.
Yeah.
What a move, though. Like,
so smart. Would have made him a lot of money.
Yeah. Ballsy as well, just to do that. Like, that's what it's about. Like, half of the game is just promoting yourself in that way.
Yeah.
Like, and then that brings another fighter that's on that card. The Poirier card is Sean O'Malley.
Oh, mate, the Sugar Show.
Yeah, that guy's fighting's pretty good. I can't remember his name.
Is it like the Spanish? Is he Spanish?
I think he's like Latino or something.
Latino, yeah. I think I know the name. I can picture the name.
Yeah.
I don't actually know.
I can picture the face. I can't think of it.
Well, mate, look at this is the thing where people go on about UFC fighter pay and all this sort of stuff. I think Sean O'Malley is such a good example to show like what money you can make. Like, he's not even ranked. I don't think Sean O'Malley. He's never been ranked in his UFC career, and he's just utilised the platform that the UFC gives to fighters, and he's probably earned a lot of money already. And he's literally right at the beginning of his career. It's like a lot of people, like when we were speaking to Davey as well. It's like Davey was saying, how many jobs can you go into and start demanding you get this and that? You're never going to get, if you go into a normal job and just start saying, like, demanding you need to be earning this much and this much, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And if you look at what the UFC offers to loads of fighters, like the UFC PI, for example, there's no boxing organisation doing that. There's literally no one looking out for fighters the way the UFC does. Like, I think the UFC obviously do make a lot of profit, and they probably could pay their fighters a little bit more, but I don't think it's as bad as it's made out to be in the media, to be like, oh, it's so bad the way UFC pays their fighters. Because
an interesting angle I saw on it was that if you look at like boxing promotions, their sort of way of doing it will be like put on a big show and then take as much money as they can from that big show, whereas the UFC is like reinvesting back into the sport as well.
Yeah.
So even like that, like UFC Fight Pass, like how many shows are on? I know like there's a few shows in Australia that are on it. Like I know Cage Warriors are on UFC Fight Pass, like stuff like that. It just provides a platform, to promote
mixed martial arts.
Yeah.
Because it's like UFC Fight Pass as well. It's not only got MMA on there. It's got boxing. It's got K1. It's got Thai boxing. It's got everything. It's
just like grappling as well.
Yeah.
Like,
it's all shit. Yeah.
Also, there's grappling comps. Like
there's just what the UFC and what Dana White has done in the time that they've done it is, I think, nothing short of incredible, to be honest. Like they've literally built the sport.
It'll become. I know it's hard to like overcome football, but I honestly think it will become one of the biggest sports, if not the biggest in the world.
Well, I love football, to be honest. I'll always watch football, but I definitely get more enjoyment out of watching the UFC guys.
It's crazy, isn't it? Like
I don't know what it taps into, but when you're watching fighting, like it's like your animalistic fucking traits all come out, because you proper just get. For me at least, I proper get into a fight. I can happily sit and watch a full fight card from the early prelims to the last fight without a problem. Just sit there. Just
I think it's probably because we train in it as well. So then you start like when I'm new to the grappling as well, and like we were saying, like when we were watching it the other day, like you can appreciate the grappling so much more, and just like what they're actually doing, like the little he's doing just little things that are so details. Fucking hard to get. But you wouldn't understand until you actually did it yourself. And at first, and that's the thing, when I was younger, I used to watch boxing, and I used to find it so boring. Because I was like, unless you see someone get knocked out, you're just like, what is this? Like, but then if I watch it now, I'm actually engaged in what they're doing, because I'm appreciating how difficult it is.
The science of it,
Yeah, that's why MMA actually appeals to the masses more, because it is, because there are so many different elements to it. It is a bit more like rugged, so it becomes
more real. It's like a real version of like what would actually happen in a street fight as well. With people that just spend, all their time training in it, so they're literally so that's when it's crazy when you see like people say who literally never train and they've had a few street fights, and then they're just like, no, you know what I mean? Like they're just like, mate, about how they beat so and so because they've had a street fight. It's like. Kimbo Slice, perfect example.
Yeah.
How shit he was at fighting. But he was like known to be the fucking street fighter king. Yeah,
exactly. Against other people that are untrained, that just like jump in there and do that. Like, and that's where it starts becoming like an art form. Like it's weird. especially like living in it and being around it, you don't view it as violence. You just view it as.
It's weird, and you know what the thing is as well, like, unless you're taking leg kicks off a fucking child, in the moment with the adrenaline, I don't really feel like you feel.
Yeah.
Like even like when you're boxing, you're getting hit and stuff. Like you feel that you're getting hit, but it's not like I need to stop. Like it's just like you're just in the flow of it, and you want to give like you. For me at least, when I get hit, I'm like, fuck, I need to give you one fucking back harder. You know what I mean? And for me being at the level I am as well, makes me definitely appreciate, like you were on the journey for a lot longer than me, so you can probably understand as well, but like for me, I can, like, watching pro fighters, it's like knowing how hard it is, like I think that's the most important thing for me, is like understanding the levels and the dedication you need to get to like that high level. Like think of you're such a high level kickboxer, and then if you look at Justin and Jack, they're so high level MMA, and they're still not in the UFC. Like, just shows how hard it is to get to that level. Because these guys are good enough to get into the UFC, but like the level of competition, I think because as a sport grows, more people watch it, more people train, more people just fucking evolve. Like, it's just to get to the cream, like to get to like a Kamaru Usman. Fucking hell.
And that's where when people talk shit on it about him, that's where it blows my mind when people, even like professional fighters, will talk shit about someone. It's like, nah, you got to appreciate like the skill set that they've developed. Like,
but then also is a lot of that chatting shit coming down to just trying to be like a Jake Paul, just to try and get under.
Or even just not, well, maybe not like trash talk. When I'm saying like, I mean more like someone going, not even like they're not trash talking, but they're just going like, oh, I don't rate him.
Yeah, just dismissive.
Or even like say Conor McGregor now, people are saying like they don't rate him. It's like, look what he did. Like, and who's he lost to? He's lost to Khabib, Dustin Poirier twice, probably the two best lightweights of all time, and that's who he's lost to.
And Nate Diaz once.
Yeah, and Nate Diaz.
And Nate Diaz is just a fucking killer, to be honest.
Yeah,
and
a zombie.
He went from fighting at 145 and took him at 170.
Yeah.
And then wasn't a bitch. Was like, oh, we'll fight at 170 again. Let's not go back down. Mate, I don't think I'll ever fucking hate him. Like on his personal side, he's made a lot of mistakes. But at the same time, I always say this, like, mate, you try fucking be put in this position. Like, his head must be so blown from going to being a nobody basically to then being the number one guy in sports. Like, that must fucking blow your head. Like, constantly being harassed. I can imagine. Like,
but it's like it's like Mike Tyson. It's like the same as Mike Tyson. You literally become. It's like, it's a weird thing to say, but like the coolest person in the world. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, imagine, how did the kid that was in the playground when we were in primary school, how was the kid who was like the coolest in the playground? They develop a bit of an ego, don't they?
Yeah.
Because everyone like sucks up to them. Okay, now imagine it's the whole world doing that. And you saw it with Mike Tyson's, like, Conor McGregor and Mike Tyson are kind of like that similar.
Yeah, they've both got very the personality traits as well. Like, Mike Tyson was the cocaine addict. You can, I mean, it's not. McGregor's not ever come out and said himself.
We're making assumptions.
Well, I'd assume he's a fucking. Well, he loves his whiskey, that's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I guess we know he smokes a bit of weed. Like, this, like, I don't know. He's never.
Everyone does drugs, mate.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he did upload a picture that was like a fucking. There was like a. It had coke all over the table.
Mate, I'm not surprised. He's very impulsive, McGregor. Like, even his tweets are just like.
But it's that obsessive personality, the same like personality trait that made him stay in the gym for. Like, I'm kind of like that as well. I'm like extremes. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you see me. Like, what do I do here? Train, sleep. Do I go out? Not really. Nah. You know what I mean? Like, and then.
But you're dedicating yourself is what you got to do.
And I kind of know, like, I'll do that. Like, if I do something, it's like all in. So it's like when I've maybe been doing, like when I was at uni and I was just focusing on like socializing, I was just all in on that.
Yeah.
And you forget about everything else, you know. So it's like, I can kind of appreciate that. But I think he's just to like another level of like, because I feel like I know now, say if I got to the level of like McGregor and had that pressure on me, I wouldn't ever fall off that path
Well, it's also as well, like with McGregor, I know I've said it before, but I think you could also compare it to what happened with Tyson Fury when he
Yeah.
became a lineal champion when he beat Vladimir Klitschko. Became depressed and tried killing himself because he'd accomplished everything he could have accomplished. Same thing with McGregor. He went on his downward spiral after becoming champ, first ever champ, and then fought Floyd Mayweather. After he fought Floyd Mayweather, he just went off the rails.
So much money.
So much money, but it's like, what else? Like, what else could he have done in his career to top what he's already achieved? Like, it's kind of like he's almost. I mean, obviously, it's the way you look at it, because like he could be a three-weight world champion, but
at that time, like, don't tell me that he couldn't have beaten Tyron Woodley at that time.
Oh man, yeah, I know.
Like, realistically,
Yeah, mate.
you see how Woodley
It's so
dropped off.
frustrating talking about McGregor's career, because he could have been such a fucking even better fighter than he was. I still. Maybe that's like
not
an inner
done.
fan belief in me thinking that I think he could still come and get a few good wins in the UFC and maybe like. I mean, his pull. He's definitely going to fight for a title again in the UFC. Like the pull he's got and the money that a McGregor fight generates, the UFC are going to put a title fight together for him at some point. But I mean, he's been getting jacked as well. Have you seen this? He's huge.
I know.
He is absolutely huge. So
I know.
I mean, I don't know how that'll help his gas tank, because his gas tank wasn't ever that good anyway.
He's already just that explosive sort of like fighter that.
But I think the problem is, like I said, he's just not been in the gym. Like if you're like, say if you're in the gym like he was before when he was fighting for Diaz, like training with other people, and instead of just trying to do his own thing, McGregor fast, you just come in for this, you just come in for that. It's like, I mean, I've never been in that position, but I know from what I've seen from a lot of other fighters that you've just got to be in the gym.
You got to,
and there's also something humbling as well about just being in almost a normal environment with other fighters, just not thinking you're special, if that makes sense.
100%. And you want to be in that environment where, like, one of the things for me leaving home was that I wanted to get out of the comfort zone and just like come somewhere where I wasn't like, not that I was like anything special at home, but come somewhere where I'm literally like, no one really knows who I am.
Yeah, start new.
Yeah. And just like, because I know that's probably the environment where I thrive the most. It's just like,
mate, you learn so much about yourself when you throw yourself in the deep. I mean, so many people are afraid to just take that
leave
step.
the comforts. Yeah.
It's because everyone likes comfortability.
Yeah. But it's that, what's that, there's like a Jordan Peterson quote, and he's like, the treasure you seek is often in the cave that you dare not enter.
It's a good quote.
Yeah.
I should listen to more Jordan Peterson.
Oh, is he
your guy?
I like him. I've read his books, and he's just the way he speaks about things, he's just so blunt, like, about just how he views things to be, and it's pretty spot on. Like, it's no sugarcoating, but it's like, it's not that he hasn't got like a defeatist attitude about it. It's like, this is like, it's almost like you've got to embrace the truth of the situation.
Oh, shout out John Gillies. Right, do you remember the train of thought you were in before?
It was about, I think it was just about Jordan Peterson, and I was saying that he's like, just the way he analyzes like life and society, but he's not, it's like, he'll be like very realistic about like the dark sides of it, but also, you know, how you like, I don't,
just the way you perceive things.
Yeah, like it's about perception and the importance of like acting in the right way for yourself, and, you know, having like good habits, but also like the impact that has on, like, because often I think we don't like realize the impact that, you know, is that what I was saying, like when we were training, that probably one of the first times we were drilling and you were like apologizing because you felt like you were slowing me down.
Yeah.
But like, I always think with that stuff, it's like, well, no, because I know the better that you get, the better it is for me.
Yeah.
So then I'm happy to spend the time like helping you improve in that particular area.
Well, it's like in general, like everyone, if you help each other out, like helping other people will just bring
the collective raise up together.
Who would you say, either for life inspiration or like for fighting, like who inspired you to get into the fight game?
Yeah, well, it was, I'll tell you at first. So the first person I probably started religiously watching was Anthony Joshua, because I was just like, I remember I just saw a picture of him, I was like, who is that? And I'll tell you, at the time I was really into like going to the gym, and just like trying to look good.
Jacked, yeah,
So
yeah.
I like,
I've seen some photos you sent me to be fair.
yeah,
Fucking jacked.
just skinny legs, but
Yeah.
but yeah, and I saw Anthony Joshua and I was like, and this is before I was into like boxing or anything like that, and I just saw a picture of him on like Sport Bible or Lad Bible or something. I remember they posted a picture of him standing next to like Carl Froch, and yeah, he just like looked ridiculous. And I looked him up, and I think he was like 11-0 or 12-0, and he was just like smashing everyone. And I was like, like, this guy's ridiculous. So I started watching him, and then so it was on my radar a little bit more. And then I think Sport Bible or Lad Bible uploaded something about Conor McGregor when he beat Chad Mendes.
Oh yeah.
And I just saw like the highlight of or just the crowd, like, and how the Irish crowd in Vegas and how they responded to him. And then it sort of like went off my radar a bit. And then with all the Aldo build up, it came back on, and I started like watching, you know, everything that he was doing. And then I was, obviously just his personality, I was just entertained by him. So I just,
as everyone was.
yeah, like it sort of started captivating everyone, and people were talking about it more. And then so when I'd never watched a fight live like that, so I wanted to make sure I watched it. And I was working in Manly Manly Beach in Sydney at the time, and in my lunch break I just like made sure I timed my lunch break so that I could watch the fight. And I went into this pub, and in Manly there are heaps of Brazilians there, so they're all supporting Aldo. And they were sort of pumped because I think everyone, like, they all were confident that Aldo would, you know.
Aldo was undefeated for 10 years,
Yeah.
and he was the pound for pound number one when he fought McGregor.
Yeah, which is, people forget about that now. But it was, he was like, he was thought to be unbeatable, and they thought he'd be too much for McGregor. But yeah, just when it like, I remember just like watching it and it started, and then when it happened, like when he knocked him out, I was literally just like just in shock. And the whole place was just, like, the Brazilians were just like in shock. And everyone else was just like, and then everyone started going mental. I remember just being like, just having goosebumps and just going, yeah.
Special.
Yeah, that's special. And then I remember going back to work, and I was just thinking about it all day. And I thought, and not that I wanted to fight or anything like that. I just wanted to I just want to learn how to do what he did. And no real intention of fighting. But I just started training, and then just fell in love with like
The sport.
yeah. And I think the thing with as well was like, I'd just been partying a lot at uni and stuff like that, but I'd get to a point where I started like needing something more. And his mindset at that time and just how he was going on with it.
Nice one.
What's that? Charge.
Take the charger for the wife if you want.
I've got one with this.
No worries, mate. Yeah, you were saying?
Yeah. And yeah, just like how he was approaching things just made me like, you know how his mindset was just all like about that like self-belief.
Yeah.
And like,
well, yeah, it was like believing, saying it into existence.
yeah, manifestation, like that was,
manifestation.
yeah. And you know, he'd been living a life that he wasn't really happy with, and he left and just had this dream that people didn't think was realistic, all that sort of stuff, you know, like the fairy tale sort of story. And I just sort of got captivated by that. So then,
See you later, chickens.
See ya.
see you, John. And yeah, I just got captivated by that, and it just sort of made me. So when I walked into the gym, I walked in with a very open mind of like, anything's possible. So
It's a good way to approach it.
yeah, and I was probably had that sort of belief anyway, but it just sort of opened my eyes to it more. And then yeah, just sort of like one thing led to another, and
now here you are.
yeah, here we are now.
Yeah, mate, I was the same. For me, the first ever combat sport event that I ever watched, ever really like started hearing about was Mayweather Pacquiao.
Yeah.
That was like the first ever time I'd really, because my mum, she loves sports. She absolutely loves sports. Loves like athletics, football, but like never really into fighting at all. And then my stepdad wasn't into fighting, and then my dad isn't really into fighting anyway. So I was never really like, fighting was never really something that was ever in my realm, if that makes sense. Like, even none of my mates, everyone in Malta was just football crazy, because there's no boxer that's ever made that out of Malta. No, MMA even wasn't really a thing. So it was Mayweather Pacquiao, say that I went to the pub literally and watched the whole card.
Because
I thought when it said starts at this time.
That's the fun.
I got there for the fucking prelims. It was just
that would have been long as well.
I remember my mate Sean was just there. I was like, oh my god, like I thought it was starting now. I was like, sorry mate. But and then after that, it would have been Anthony Joshua for me as well. Obviously, was a big fan. I remember watching the first Joshua fight I think I watched was his fight with Dillian White. I think it was the first live fight I watched, which was a sick fight.
That was sick.
And obviously seeing his journey, and then after that it would have been McGregor as well. I didn't watch the Mendes fight. The first live event I watched was that one night before, and I always say it was definitely McGregor that got me like what he did was so magical, especially one of the most iconic moments in sport. But I think for me, what really made me fall in love with like fighting, like I said, I was in the same boat. I didn't know I wanted to fight really. Like I just love the sport. Like even when I was training, like I never, even now to a certain extent, I'm training to fight, but like I don't like to think too far ahead with things like that, because I know how easy it can be to get lost when you focus on stuff that's too far away. But it was the co-main event, Weidman and Rocco.
Oh yeah.
Mate, I think that went to the third round, but like the second round, like Rocco just absolutely smashed Weidman with ground and pound, like cut him open with elbows, just boom, boom, boom. And I remember like the second round ending, and because I've just watched boxing before, I'd never seen anything like that. I just remember like watching, I was like, how the fuck did that not get stopped? Round? I was like, oh my god, what a sick fight.
Yeah.
And then obviously McGregor happened, I was just there, I was like, oh my god. But
it's funny because we like it's some. Yeah, I watched that Mayweather Pacquiao fight as well. Actually, in the same pub that I watched the McGregor Aldo fight. That was 2015 as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I remember that was just boring. Like I remember just like because not understanding it. Probably if I watch it now, I'd be like, oh, this is sick. But at the time, I was just like, I wanted to see Pacquiao knock out Mayweather so bad.
Mate,
you know, that's what I think lots of people wanted. But that Weidman Rockhold fight. The thing I always remember about that is when his dad goes like,
"That's still my boy,"
and Weidman's just like,
"Fuck's sake,
come on, Dad," and he's still my boy.
Wow, I'd be pretty embarrassed to be honest.
I know. It's like when, like, it's like the Tommy Fury, John Fury thing recently, like the.
Oh, when he said he's gonna fucking shag his bird and then
bend her over, and do it like a dog.
That's a good little swift. Jake Paul or Tommy Fury? Who do you think's gonna win?
I've been saying Tommy Fury.
Yeah. I mean, I would love Tommy Fury to win, but I just think Jake Paul's gonna do it.
Let's just think about it.
Yeah, but Jake Paul hasn't fought any boxers, granted.
Yeah.
But he's still fighting high level athletes.
Oh yeah, but
and he's been in big shows. Like he's had like worldwide media attention.
Yeah, but Tommy Fury's been on Love Island.
I just think like Tommy Fury hasn't been in the position that Jake Paul's been in for the last couple of years. Like think of the pressure that Jake Paul's had in his last few fights. The attention it's had. Like there's so much more for Tommy Fury to lose than this. Tommy fumbles if he loses. That's what he's gonna have his name contractually changed to for.
But these guys are gypsies, man. Like they're built different. It's Tyson Fury's brother.
Tyson Fury's been fighting cans, man. He's not even been looking good.
Yeah, but
cans.
Jake Paul has essentially been fighting cans. There's a no knockout clause in the contract with Tyron Woodley.
Yeah.
And I think Tyron Woodley he almost had him out on his feet, and he held back because he remembered that I'm not gonna get my money if I knock him out.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, like
boxing is corrupt.
Askren is let's look. Who'd he beat?
Yeah, Askren's a bomb.
Number one was some YouTuber, and it was just like a little
KSI's brother.
No, was it him or was it some other? There was an amateur fight that he had, and then there was like
it was Nate. I know he fought Nate Robinson.
The second one was Nate Robinson. That was a clean knockout, to be fair. But Nate Robinson
was not a boxer.
Yeah, and look at him, like it was just like the way he was fighting was just like ridiculous.
Who did he fucking? I should know this.
It was like E Squire. I don't know. It was just like some weird name. It was like his YouTube name.
Anyway.
Then number 3, Ben Askren, possibly the worst striker in MMA. You know, top level MMA, UFC history potentially.
Literally was just there for the money.
Yeah, and then Tyron Woodley, known to not be able to throw the trigger, and then there's speculation that there was a no knockout clause in his contract.
Thing is though, I understand all of that, but I feel like even though, I mean, maybe fighting the level of competition will make it look a bit better, but I feel like there are, like, you can, Jake Paul looks like he moves pretty well for a boxer. Do you not think? I feel like he looks like, I mean, like I said, he is, when you compare him to the people he's fighting, maybe he will look a little bit better. But I don't know, mate. I just got a feeling Jake Paul's gonna fucking ruffle some more feathers and.
He's gonna lose at some point. So
Yeah,
I think this will be where he loses. I think this is where it. Look, maybe they have like a hectic fight, and then Tommy Fury knocks him out towards the end, and they do a rematch.
I was just saying, there's definitely a rematch. This is the first time they're gonna fight, because if Tommy wins, Jake Paul's gonna get a fucking rematch. If Jake Paul wins, Tommy Fury's gonna be like, right, let's go again. Man, the money they're gonna be making is gonna be crazy.
Yeah, and it's a smart move for Tommy Fury. Like, what's gonna happen now is, say he knocks Jake Paul out, then everyone's probably he's just gonna become a massive star, and he already is a pretty big star, to be fair. And then his opportunity for making money is just gonna skyrocket as well. So I think what they're doing for boxing's good.
Yeah, I think just people just hate. I think it's the money aspect that people are just probably just jealous of.
Yeah, and Jake Paul's doing something that a lot of people wouldn't have the guts to do. Anyone can look at what has he done. He's just leveraged, and people will go, oh well, it's like when people go, about people that are, they have like a hand in things, like they're like, oh, he was on Disney, and then or it was Vine, and then Disney, and then whatever.
So fucking what?
But it's like, yeah, he leveraged those opportunities, and he's making the most of it now.
Guy.
Yeah,
so smart.
Both of them are smart.
And even the way he trolls people, like he's the ultimate troll.
Yeah.
He gets so pissed off by it. It's like, that's what he wants.
Yeah,
that's what he wants out of it. He wants people to get pissed off and start talking about him.
And I think Tommy Fury looks calm, to be fair. And I think, if anything, they're ruffling Jake Paul a little bit.
Yeah, I think the one thing that favours Tommy Fury is they're fighting at Tommy Fury's natural weight class, aren't they?
I'm not too sure.
I think they're fighting like 190, something like that. And then obviously like Tyron Woodley and Ben Askren, they were fighting like 195. Like that's not their natural weight class. So Jake Paul had an added advantage over that. But Tommy Fury isn't a fucking small bloke, man.
Nah, yeah.
Big cunt.
I think Tommy Fury would. Okay, what would you
make fights? It's a good fight.
Okay, but if you put Tommy Fury and Tyron Woodley together in a fight, what would you think would happen? You think Tommy Fury would piece Tyron Woodley up, wouldn't you? In a boxing match?
In a boxing fight. After watching Jake Paul fight Woodley, probably, yeah.
I feel like Woodley wouldn't land anything on him. But it was a split decision win for Jake Paul. Yeah. And Woodley almost knocked him out. And he's not, like, okay, put any professional boxer, yeah, Woodley's got power, but a lot of professional boxers have power. Put any professional boxer in that position with Woodley that's the same weight as Jake Paul. Do you think Woodley's going to have a chance? No, he's probably going to get finished.
Yeah, probably.
That's when, like, when you
break it down like that.
Yeah, like that's, and now it's like they're playing. So before they were playing, Jake Paul training full time for boxing for the past 4 years is probably more boxing work than Tyron Woodley would have ever done. But Tommy Fury's been doing it his whole life, training full time. I know he's been doing the Love Island stuff.
Yeah, I think if I were Tommy Fury, to be honest, I'd probably take these Jake Paul fights, make some money, and then he can make so much more money outside of fight.
I think he wants to be. I think it's not even.
Do you think he could be a world champion though?
Well, to be fair, like if you watch Tyson Fury in his earlier fights, like he looked, well, he was good, but like it's not like you wouldn't think Tyson Fury's got the opportunity to become the greatest heavyweight of all time if he keeps winning. In terms of like who would have beat him throughout history? Probably no one. Already you could say no one, but he just needs to keep boosting his resume and doing crazy stuff.
That White fight needs to happen.
Yeah, he needs to beat AJ. If he beats White, AJ, Usyk,
I think that definitely solidifies.
Yeah,
those three are fucking not easy fights.
And Muhammad Ali will always obviously be considered one of the GOATs because of
the cultural,
and also what he did, so beat Sonny Liston when he was 22, Yeah, right there. And then he went on, like, was undefeated until he got banned for the standing up against the conscientiously objecting to the Vietnam War. Then when he came back, he hadn't really trained for 3 years. George Foreman, well, I can't remember I think Joe Frazier was the champ, and then did he lose to Frazier? And then George Foreman knocked out Frazier, and then everyone rid him off against George Foreman, and then like.
So I think he won. I think he won his first fight back.
Yeah, he had like a couple of he had like a few warm up fights back in, and then he lost to. I think he lost to Frazier in like a war.
Yeah.
Like decision, and then Frazier lost to Foreman. I might be getting this wrong, but
my boxing knowledge isn't that great.
Yeah, but it was like I was trying to like if you like put into. It's similar like what Fury did with Wilder is similar to what Ali did with Foreman.
Yeah.
Because it's like, yeah, and like it didn't. But like in the Foreman fight, I don't know if you've watched that Rumble in the Jungle. Like he started moving around, and he realized it, like how he used to like bounce. He realized to get too tired. So Foreman, like a massive, they call him one of the biggest punchers in history. Like Ali played that rope-a-dope, literally just on the ropes, taking all of his power, like just taking shots essentially, just like covering up, but still like eating some shots. Until Foreman gassed, just took it all, which no one else has been able to do. Then in the 8th round, just knocked him out. And like it's like what I get goosebumps when I see that still, because it's like
another iconic moment.
Yeah.
Fight in history that will go down in history.
It's crazy. And then he had 2 wars with Frazier, and he won, and he redeemed himself twice against Frazier, and stopped him in one of them, I think, or like or Frazier's corner threw in the towel. Because it's just like an absolute war, but it's just like that. But Fury's almost doing that, but in a more dominant fashion.
Look at the 3 fights he's had against fucking Deontay Wilder. He's made Deontay Wilder look so shit. But Deontay Wilder's probably the scariest puncher in heavyweight history. Got like 41 knockouts, 42 knockouts, and not even like TKOs, like knocked the fuck out like cold.
Yeah, and he was like, in some of his fights, he was under 100 kilos.
And I swear he took up boxing within less than a year. He was in the Olympics.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, I think he only started training when he was like 21 or something.
Well, let's talk about the Metaverse, mate.
Just changing topics.
How fucked up is the Metaverse? I'm scared, mate. The future frightens me.
I guess it's like anything, like, we don't have to be involved in it.
But how many people do you reckon they're gonna be like, oh, right, do you know what? Seems like a good idea. Because I think it's maybe not so much our generation. I think it's more like people that are younger, like proper kids. Like my little sister, she's literally 10 years old and glued to the TV, like computer screen. Like all she is always on the computer. And obviously, like she's very intelligent. Like she's learning code and stuff. But like that's just for me an insight into what all kids are being like now. Like iPads. Like how many parents fucking are lazy? Kids crying, shut the fuck up here, have an iPad, watch this.
Yeah.
Because that's all the news. All kids that are growing up from like 2010 onwards, right? They're all being brought up into an age of technology where everything is smartphone or iPad or laptop or TV. So they're constantly glued. So to them, that is norm. Like that is the norm, to be constantly online and be around friends, and like especially with COVID. When everything went online and classes were online and everything's online, it's like...
That's what we were saying last night, wasn't it? Like, well, that's it. I think it's... Look, it's like with anything. Any, like, invention or, like, innovation there's going to be positive things to it. There's going to be negative things to it. Like, so social media, there's so many positives to it, because you can spread... positive messages, you can spread awareness about things, you can educate people, you can keep in touch with people, you can do all these things. But in the same way, if you get addicted to those things, like if you get addicted to social media, you're so much easier to condition as well, or you're so much easier to manipulate or control. Like look at something like TikTok now. If there's a trend or something like that, everyone just jumps on it straight
Yeah.
away. Like they'll like literally like instantly they'll.
TikTok dances become like football celebrations.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Like Fortnite fucking moves.
And like the music, like culture is changing around those things. Like how much music now is probably being created thinking, oh, okay, I want to make a song that can become a TikTok trend or can go viral on TikTok because that's how I'm going to blow up. In the same way that, like, you know, we might think of an idea that might go viral on Instagram because it's going to bring more awareness or something to, you know, and like sort of like everything that we do is like linked back to that social media of, oh, how can I use this to expand my viewership or expand my following or eyes on me, because you know that's going to create opportunities for you to do more of what you want to do. But it's like a double-edged thing because it can create benefit, but it can also create a lot of like dependencies, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's mate. There's just this last like 2 years, or almost 2 years now. Basically, it's just been fucking mental, mate. Like, I try to be a positive person as much as I can, but then like there's just so much shit that's gone on that like just doesn't make sense, or like the whole metaverse and everything being online and like how everything's happened with COVID, and like the one thing that frightens me most out of anything is like, obviously I've never been this whole, so I've never been more aware of my surroundings and what the world's been going on, so I can't like relate to what I remember the world was like when I was 10, because you're sort of naive, you don't know what the fuck's going on. But like I've never ever felt society and the world like be so angry, or almost like, I just feel like there's so much tension between people, and like even with what people think about vaccines, like people just take it as a proper religion and just like own it, and then like will be proper argumentative over stuff that like you can just, I just feel like so many people are just separated at the moment, and like I struggle to see how things are gonna like get back together. Like you'd think at the beginning of COVID it will make people come together more, but I feel like it's done the opposite, to be honest.
If you, yeah, like I agree to an extent, but think about, okay, with it, so say we're living in this gym, and this gym is pretty much like our community at the moment, because we don't really leave it too much. Do you feel like that's true within this gym?
True, yeah.
So what happens is, like social media, for example, shines a light on absolutely everything. And whereas before, we would only get to see the perspective of the people that we're always around. But now I'm still seeing the perspective of everyone that I knew back in Australia. I'm still seeing, you know, perspective of some random people that I have met along the way that I've still got on social media, and you get to see their thing. There's always been like humans, and like the animal kingdom is like, there's conflict. There's always conflict. It's like survival. It's just like built into us. But social media gives everyone a platform to express their views. So then we get to see that, you know, that's where the danger I think is in, because it doesn't really give us a break. Now this is where the metaverse becomes scary, because it's like, you might always be plugged into like, and like you're saying, they're creating like gloves where you can feel things and stuff like that. So there's going to be people that literally will be living in it full time, because they'll invest more money into building their lives in the metaverse as opposed to actually building it in the real. Like we've already got a metaverse. We've already got a universe that we can inhabit, and like, why do we need this? Like I guess we see it to a degree. Like social media can be an escape. Playing video games is an escape, and you see people invest into that. But this is just taking it to the next level now.
Because the direction of it is just, it seems seedy.
Yeah, there's something about it. Like when Instagram came out, it was like, oh, this is cool. Like, do you know what I mean? Like when Facebook came out, oh, this is cool, we can connect. TikTok even, it's a bit like, okay.
Not really aimed at us though, sort of thing. So
yeah.
I feel like loads of kids are like, oh, TikTok's sick.
Yeah, but now it's like this metaverse is a bit like, everyone's a bit like, this is weird now.
Yeah.
Like this is like, what's this gonna be?
And I think the one thing as well, like, that you've got to factor in is Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, like and Snapchat. They're all the most pivotal social media apps that are used, and they're all owned by one company.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's going on, mate?
Yeah, I know.
What's going on, mate?
And then they.
And then you see the censorship as well, like even if not, maybe not those companies, but like YouTube or Google, like the censorship that's going on at the moment, like the lack of freedom of speech, and even the whole cancel culture that's gone on in the last couple of years, and being politically correct and getting people fucking cancelled for shit they said fucking 5 years ago, and you change, mate. You change as a person. So like I'm a different person than I was 2 months ago.
Yeah,
when I was here.
100%. Yeah.
So it's like it's just a mad time to be alive. I think, like you said, like the community over here being so strong. I think that's just how you gotta live. Just build a community around you where you're happy and stable, and you're around people that you want to be around.
Well,
You're all right.
you know, it's like with that social media, the impact that it can have. Justin Burlinson, who you had on last time, obviously pivotal member of the gym, but he broke his phone during the week.
Yeah.
So he didn't have a phone for 3 days, and he was like, it's actually been so like relaxing.
It's like you detach yourself.
Yeah.
From a lot
And just come back into reality.
Well, yeah, because like a lot of the issues like with being on your phone. I mean, think how many times subconsciously, like without even thinking, when you've got nothing to do, like when your mind just like looking for something to fucking look into, a dopamine rush, like just subconsciously you'll just get out your phone for no reason. You might not even have any notifications. You'll just go on apps and you'll just like scroll endlessly, like so like it's fucked like that. That is actually a normal thing now. And as well, when I deleted all my social media last year, like for a week, I just had like phone and message. I still had my phone, but like I wasn't going on my apps, and then I deleted all my notifications. I found like just not even having notifications on my phone relieved so much anxiety.
Yeah.
Because like you've not got a constant backlog of like you've been notified, being plugged in. My dad always said, always like speaking to like my parents, like, oh, like what was it like when there were no phones? Cause I'd love to experience, because I was just about that generation where I remember growing up without a phone. Like I remember being on the streets a lot. Like my first phone was when I was like 13. It was like a flip phone. I'd never been around money anyway. So my first phone, I think my first iPhone, I must have had when I was maybe like 15, 16. So like it's a lot different to like kids now, like 9, even 8-year-olds.
Yeah.
They've got iPhones and stuff. But my dad always says, it felt so nice to just be able to just wake up and just leave the house and just not be connected to anything.
Yeah. The thing is, it's like there's levels of this within, you know, every generation, because our kids will probably then say, oh, what was life like before the metaverse?
Oh, mate.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no, everyone's gonna be, mate, in a couple of years, everyone's gonna be fucking knocked out unconscious in bed, plugged into a game.
Yeah.
Like, that's literally what's gonna happen,
the
mate.
Matrix, like that.
The Matrix. I'm scared to watch The Matrix again, because I've, like, that film has tended to be pretty, like the red pill, blue pill.
It's becoming more
real,
more relevant.
Yeah.
Before it was just a cool concept, so now it's like almost like a comment on society, which I guess it probably was. It would have been back then, because where do they get the idea from? Like,
do you believe in like the elites running the world and stuff? what do you think? Because for me personally, I think there's too much money and too much power. Like I genuinely do think that the way the world is run is like what we see on the news and TV, that is actually just handpicked for what they want us to see and what they want people to believe in the narrative they push down to it. And it sounds like some wacky conspiracy shit, but there's just a lot of shit that comes out that's just so dodgy. Like I feel like a lot of stuff as well is purposely like thrown in people's faces to be like, oh, this is what we're doing, but nothing ever happens. Like, mate, do you not think like The Simpsons is so weird the way they predicted some stuff? And like Hollywood is literally meant to be, by all accounts, a pretty fucked up place where a lot of dodgy shit goes on, and they're the guys that are projecting films to the whole world about stories. Like, what if like all these mad scientific films like Mad Max and stuff? Like, what if those films are just being subconsciously put to us to like be what's the word I'm looking for? You know, when you see something so much that you become almost used to it. So then when
It's like conditioned, isn't it?
Conditioning, yeah. Like I believe in a lot of that shit. Like the whole Jeffrey Epstein stuff. Like, mate, Jeffrey Epstein, I think with that whole private island, my theory on it is he was hired by these people, whoever they are, these elite people that have got a lot of money and power and control. Because mate, Jeffrey Epstein was photographed with so many influential people, like politicians, bankers, doctors and scientists, and if that's like the way I see it, that's like evidence to hold against those people, not Jeffrey Epstein, it's against those people, because it's like if Jeffrey Epstein had this island where he was getting all these people, flying all these people, getting all this fucking evidence that they were with Jeffrey Epstein, and these people might have even been a bit oblivious to the fact that they thought they were just going, like, a lot of rich people do some fucking weird shit anyway, but like if Jeffrey Epstein's got evidence on this high level fucking scientist who's like the leading scientist on this field, and Jeffrey Epstein and these guys have got evidence of him being a nonce, and camera's like, oh well mate, if you don't fucking say this, whole world's gonna know what you've been doing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of blackmail that must be going on. That's how I think a lot of things must happen.
Yeah, I mean...
And case in point, Ghislaine Maxwell, who was Jeffrey Epstein's wife, and if you believe all the accounts from like, I forget her name, the one that was, that's trying to get Prince Andrew done right now.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I forget her name.
Yeah.
But, a lot of people that have been given evidence and were basically part of the sex ring that was going on for Jeffrey Epstein. Said that Ghislaine Maxwell was as bad as Jeffrey Epstein. She's been arrested by the FBI. Her trial starts in like a couple of days. There's no coverage on it. Where the fuck is the media coverage on it? It's like, why? Like, why is that shit being hidden? How is it such a, like, the one thing that with Jeffrey Epstein, how does everyone knows and kind of accepts that he didn't kill himself, but like everyone just like it's just like oh yeah, he didn't kill himself.
Yeah,
we just let that shit happen like it's nothing.
I don't know, it's such a strange, like there definitely is so much that we don't know and we'll never know, but it's like like power's a weird thing, isn't it? Because say this metaverse thing, if we go back to this metaverse, that will make probably Zuckerberg the most powerful person in the world.
Yeah.
Almost. You know what I mean?
They'll get to see what everyone is doing. I mean, they kind of already do now.
They have that.
Like to another level, because like if you're being plugged into a game, like the only thing that attracts you at the moment is like your interactions, and obviously like if they really wanted to, they could hack into your phone and your fucking mic. But like if you're plugged into a game, they're literally seeing everything you're doing.
Yeah. So it's like, and what's like his reason for wanting that, having that sort of power? Money, profit making. Do you know what I mean? So a lot of these things, it's like, so why do the news like push? So the news they're owned by like a few select people, or the news outlets. They're trying to maximize their profit as much as possible. So they're trying to make money. So they've got like an agenda to everything that they put out. Of course they're going to do. It's not going to be like, it's not going to be just, what do you call it? Yeah. It's just, there's an agenda to it. Politics is the same. There's deals being made. They're trying to make money. People don't get into politics mainly because they want to make a difference. They get into politics because they want power and they want money. So they're going to be, easily manipulated.
Go on, sorry.
No, it's just that same thing. Like everything's to do with money, So it's like, I never see things as like evil.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, I think a lot of people when they talk about this elite thing is like, oh, they're evil and they want control just for the sake of control.
Control, but the control brings money though.
Yeah, that's what the thing is. It's money, because if control didn't bring anything, they wouldn't just want the control. Do you know what I mean? But if they could get money for free, they'd take the money for free. Do you know what I mean? Like but
then it's also the control. Then, like this past couple of years, I think especially have made people a lot more aware. Like, or made people think differently. Like say our parents' generation. There wasn't really probably a lot of thoughts to people questioning the the structure of how things work.
No, yeah.
Whereas now, like, a lot more people are open to thinking about stuff. Obviously, that's the introduction of like people doing psychedelics, people smoking weed, people having a lot more freedom to their own thoughts, and that's why, like, the way I see it is like we have gotten to a point where our thoughts have been so free. That's like it's a lot of people get challenged. Like at the top, they could be challenged with not wanting people to sort of rise up and challenge the systems that are in place. Because if those get challenged, then that control, that money goes away.
Yeah, and so for people that are in power.
Yeah, that camera just died.
I did it.
Yeah. Right.
So the phone. Oh, the phone's
phone's
dead.
died. Yeah.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
Yeah. So people are just looking at me. They can't see you. We've been filming for an hour and 10 minutes, to be honest, mate.
Yeah.
So I think we'll probably have to cut it unless we're waiting to charge that back on.
Nah, yeah, I reckon we'll do other ones, won't we? Anyway.
Yeah,
So.
do another one.
Yeah.
Well, you can't see him, but Charles Joyner, mate. Thank you for coming on, bro. It's been
I appreciate
good
it.
Chat. I enjoyed it. Chat a lot of shit.
Yeah.
But,
different topics, but yeah, no, it was good. It was good. We'll go again soon.
the main one. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.